Hey guys, welcome back to the Lands of the Pharaohs. I'm Sajuuk, and today we're going to be heading on to another one of these missions in the Age of Pyramids. Last part we did Unit, the threat from Kush, so we defended against our southern enemies. But today we're going to be heading on into On, or Heliopolis, the quarries of Tura. That sounds like a rather big building mission, but let's find out when we go to the city.
Pharaoh Khufu has taken the throne, and, as foretold by seers of Horus and Ra, our people have already begun to suffer under his oppression. It is rumored that he plans to begin a colossal building project on the plateau outside Rosja, that he may usurp the renown his father, the wise and benevolent Snofru, has earned from the completion of his two noble pyramids. Pharaoh Khufu has ordered a cluster of quarries to be dug at Tura in the Delta region, where rich deposits of fine white limestone have recently been discovered. You also must build 3 mastaba tombs for the nobles of this region, so that Pharaoh may honor their devotion. The quarrying settlement you found shall be named On, and shall serve as a plentiful source of fine white limestone for many years, though only the gods know what endeavor Pharaoh has planned for its use. The city of Byblos in Lebanon, land of the cedars, has begun trading with the powerful empires of the east. These are Assyria and Ur in the land called Mesopotamia, between the 2 great rivers, and from them the finest ivory may be obtained by a Byblos. With the arrival of rare and exotic luxury goods such as this, On is sure to prosper. Khufu has also dispatched a royal governor to Eunet to defend our land against Kushite invaders. Royal viziers look with pity upon the governor charged with this difficult and dangerous task. In the capital, the Egyptian people have begun to enjoy a board game called Senate. This game is normally enjoyed over a pitcher of beer in a public gathering place called a Senate House. Such places may provide a welcome diversion for the people of On from the tyranny of Khufu's authority.
Indeed they will, and it's going to be sort of necessary to get our city fairly culturist this time around, but this is ivory from the east, where we don't need to get ivory at all, but never mind. On, population of 4,000. I'm just going to turn my sound down because I can't hear myself think. 35 prosperity rating, kingdom rating of 60, monument rating of 18, which is mostly small mastabas, but that culture rating is higher than what we are used to. In fact, that requires mortuaries to get up there, so we're going to have to find a source of linen from somewhere, because one thing to note is that 35 culture rating, you can't get any higher without mortuaries, so we're going to need a source of linen. Continuing on hard mode, of course, let's head to the city. Slow time down, right down, and pause to see what we've got. There's pretty much all the rock right next to the entrance point, so we can build sandstone quarries, but I don't think we actually need that on this map. So limestone quarries, we can set that up later, not worth an export. But this is an island map, and we're going to have to cross over here to get to these land masses to build our city. Some reeds down here, we could probably set up a bit of a housing block down here, set up reeds and all that. Where are we? We're up here at On. Apparently not able to trade with Byblos, so we're not getting ivory. We can trade with Saqqara, they buy papyrus, that's going to be useful. They also buy pottery, which we can make, which is good, so we can set up a pottery and papyrus industry down here. Not a lot of papyrus, but there are quite a few game birds, so we can hunt, I think. Yeah, hunting lodge, and we can make our own flax, that's okay, so we can produce our own linen, we don't need to import that, so that's okay. Dashur sells barley. I don't think we can make that. No, we can't. We can't make barley, we've got to import that. Maydoom buys linen, which is a good export. They sell as wood, which is what we're going to need. We don't need clay, we only need wood from Maydoom here. Barley from Dashur. Saqqara buys stuff. Unit sells copper. We don't need copper. We don't need any of these things, actually, I don't think. Let's just check. Oh, we do need limestone, which we can make. And granite we're going to have to import. So we are going to need Eunet to get granite, even though we don't need anything else that they sell. And that's it. 4 trade routes is all we've got. We don't have anything else. We don't have Buhen, Salim Oasis or any of that. So we're going to have to open up pretty much all of these trade routes. Does anyone else buy papyrus? No. Only Sakar buys papyrus. Only Meidun buys linen. Dashur buys limestone, which is worthless. We could sell loads of limestone if we wanted to, but it's only worth... how much? Yeah, it's like 35. That's terrible. That's not worth it at all. No one buys sandstone either, I don't think. No, so there's no use for sandstone. We're not going to waste our time on that industry. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to set up a papyrus industry and a pottery industry. We're going to set those up, get a lot of export going. We might even get straight into flax straight off, because we can set up a fairly basic flax industry over here. And I might also have to get, the briefing pretty much says we're going to have a limestone request. I'm going to have to set that up down here as a disconnected community. Not too sure where I'm going to put these massive, they're all small ones, but I could just put them all down this bit here and not have a housing block. And just have housing block here, and one here, and have them fairly highly evolved. Because we have 2 food types, grain and hunting. So I may be able to set up a bit of a common residence or fancy residence or something, I'm not too sure. Plenty of floodplain though, so it's not too much of an object there. So I'm going to go and plan out the city. I think I'm going to start down here where the money is, where the exports can be found. And yeah, I'll come back in once we set up our first housing block and our first exports. Okay, so we've got the city sort of planned out here. So I've got a bit of a small block on this farthest island. I could get a dock in there. We could set up all the industry we need around here. This area is not going to go too high. It's probably going to go up to about, I'm not too sure, just a smallish level. I'm not going to evolve this right up to the top because we can get a bigger block in the centre here and another bigger block up here. We are going to have to spread out across all these islands in order to take full advantage of every resource. So we've got down here 3 reed gatherers, that's probably more than enough. I'm going to have 2 hunting lodges right here once these birds stop flying about on this little bit here, which is really annoying. Can I speed this up a bit? Can you get off the... Would you get off the... There, okay. So we're going to have 2 hunting lodges there. And a granary here. Pretty much along any of these lines will just be things like papyrus makers and the like. And yeah, I think we can probably have more papyrus makers. Let's just put down one. That's 1, 2, 4. Let's just do a few more down there. Let's just have a huge papyrus industry from the outset. Probably overkill for all the amount of reeds that we've got, but hey, who cares? So we didn't start with very much money. Also, forgot to tell you, gods are Osiris Ra Bast, and Ra is our patron here, which is not too helpful, but we can put down a shrine each. Just to keep them all happy. Now, of course, because there are reeds here, we do need an apothecary. And I did learn, fairly recently, that the malaria risk stops around about common residence level. I think it's a little lower level house, I think maybe modest apartment when they stop on hard mode. But they do stop eventually, so we will be able to get rid of this later. But I might just leave it there just to keep it there, because that's not very... And it's sort of exploity to know where things stop and start at. Anyway, 1, 2, 3. I know it's going to leave a silly little gap there because... It's just the placement, but that's okay. We're not going to fill out this block totally, so let's just speed up time. In fact, let's not. Immigrants cover here, so they've got to go all the way around the map. I put these as far up high as possible, so I can put blocks here. We can build a military, we're not going to. We're just going to put down a few walls and towers later to sterilise these hippos. Because they'll interfere with a housing block right here. I'm not too sure what kind of housing block I'll go for. Maybe a small zigzag, I'm not too sure. I'm just going to go with the space, really. Okay, so I'll come back in once we're starting to make our first papyrus and food, because we're going to have to wait for the immigrants to get all the way over here. And hopefully they'll do that before we run out of money. Okay, so the city's going fairly well. Unfortunately, these 2 actually burnt down very, very quickly. Not long after I cut off, they just burnt down, but... They've got plenty of food stockpiled. I mean, they've got 500 meat stockpiled already, and that's because they're literally touching the birds. I mean, they're literally right next to them, so that's okay. It's taken a long time for people to move in. I know they're really far away, but still, this is a ridiculous distance that they're having to go. I'm not sure if I can... Can I shorten it? I don't think so. There is a bug, I think. I'm not too sure if it is a bug, but you can, I think in some cases, get a bridge to a water crossing to go a ridiculous distance from there all the way over here. I'm not too sure. It might only be from here to here, but it's totally pointless because they'll get stuck on the floodplain anyway. We're starting to get some reeds as well because I've just turned on that industry. I'm not actually having them deposit it anywhere, which is fine. We're also going to stockpile game meat for now. We're not going to feed our people. Once more people start coming in, we will, because we've got space for another 300 people. Once everyone starts to come in, I will turn on the papyrus industry because then we can start making money. We are getting very close to running out of money, and we are going to have to open up a trade route. So we're going to need about 500 demons before we open it up, otherwise we're going to go into debt and take rescue funds, which I don't really want to do. Anyway, these are starting to stockpile food here. I'm going to have it here because we can only sell, what is this, 2,500 papyrus a year, and that's it. So there's no real point having a massive stockpile in one yard right now because we're going to max it out anyway with all this, so it's okay. 300, 150, 250, so they all start to stockpile quite nicely, which is pretty good. I've got 2 firehouses here. I'm not too sure why. I must have just decided to put that down. Anyway, plenty of game meat stockpiling there. As our people start to move in, we will turn on industries. 9 people unemployed is not enough to turn on an industry, so I'll come back in once we're ready to start selling papyrus, unless something happens. Okay, so we're starting to grow our population here. We've got pretty much all of these papyrus makers filled. Unfortunately, they're producing too slowly, but we are going to feed our people. Because unfortunately, although this says that we've got a current house that can hold another 150 odd people, the amount of people coming in is actually really slow. So it's taking forever to fill up these houses, which actually doesn't help. So I'm going to evolve the houses and just try and get a bigger push of people coming in, which will probably help with our unemployment problems. Now, we are starting to make our first papyrus, thank God. Once all of these complete and we've got a large supply, I will open up the trade route to Saqqara, start making some more money. I'm not going to plaza or anything of that. They're just going to evolve on natural stuff, which I don't think they'll all fully evolve, but if we can evolve some of them, that'll help. These are way too productive because 2 of them can feed up probably the whole city, but I don't think I'm going to do that. No point in that at all. Start to get a good supply of papyrus here. What's that? 200? Not a lot, really. A few more are going to complete very shortly, which is good. Short by 48 people. Gods are happy with just a little bit of religion I've done, which is fine. Oh, more papyrus is coming in, that's good. I think it's time to open up the trade route to Saqqara now and start selling some of this papyrus because we need to get money. So we'll just open that up and sell every bit of papyrus that we have. So we're dangerously close to debt. Traders come in from this southern bit. I think they exit up here, or they might exit one of these ones, I don't know. Let's just speed up time here. Yeah.
I don't know why we...
You're going straight through because this guy doesn't have worker access. Well, that's not too good, is it? Let's just put the road out like that, just to make sure he touches some houses. Because I don't want that happening too frequently. I want the traders to come in and buy stuff. So we're going to run out of money because this trader has not... Yeah, so he comes in here and exits up here. So him going over here is quicker to get into, but it means he's got a long distance to go. And we've got so much beautiful papyrus to sell. We might, by the time the next trading boat comes in, I think we'll have a full supply to sell. Okay, so I'll come back in once we started to make some money and stabilise our population. And I might even get started on some limestone as well. Okay, so we're just about to run out of money, but we're going to stop ourselves from running out of money by buying up papyrus. Let's see how much money this gives us. 500 people. Look at all that money. Straight back up to 1,500 in one fair swoop. Yeah, we sold like 1,500 worth of money. That's actually very good. So I've managed to avoid going into rescue funds needed, but I don't want to obviously go on a strategy where I just don't take rescue funds. If I need to, I will take them. It might be necessary on this mission, but we will see. That's 900 papyrus you've bought for the year. That's okay. It's easy to put cutting down reeds faster than we can get them, but large stockpile here is more than enough. So maybe I need to go into a linen industry. Does Saqqara buy linen? They don't, but they do buy pottery, so I could set up a bit of a pottery industry here. I'm going to probably do a mixture of pottery and linen on this centre island. We are going to need beer from somewhere. We're going to import barley. We can also import beer straight, but I'm not going to do that. We can make meat, but I'm not going to waste time. Given my experience with Eonet, I refuse to make meat. I don't think we need to import straw anyway. We can make our own straw, so it's okay. But we'd rather make bricks, that's more important. So I'm going to go and continue to develop the city. Sakara's going to come and buy more papyrus, which is going to give us more money. And once we get this money in, actually we can just speed this up here. There we go, 2,600. With that cash, I'm now going to go and set up a pottery and linen industry, which we can now set up our export to Maydoom here. And yeah, I'll come back in if anything of interest happens. Okay, so we are continuing with the expansion of our city. We're selling off pretty much all papyrus we can. We've sold 1,000 years. That's taken us over to 2,500 to 2,600. Over here, I've set up my pottery industry. We've got quite a few. We've got 3 clay pits for 6 potters, which should be more than enough. And that'll stockpile in this yard right here. Later on, if I need another dock, I will put one right here. And I'm going to try and have all my trades down this left-hand side, and then we just have getting yards to all of this here, but I'm not too sure about this block. I might try to evolve it up to at least elegant residence, because we can't put any more temples down in this block because we will need a courthouse somewhere that uses up the space. So I'm not too sure at this point whether we'll go up to the highest level, but we will see. What's our gods like? They're sympathetic, because I did put down more shrines, which is going to keep them all nice and happy. Well, we can't sell any more papyrus, we have maxed out. So we can stockpile a bit more, and maybe next year we will be able to start supporting a pottery export as well, because we can sell pottery to Sakara there as well. So that's 2 exports, so we should be able to make plenty of money off of it. And this is all nicely stockpiled of game meat. No entertainment yet because I haven't put that stuff down, but we can actually put down that stuff. Let's put down a juggler school there. I'm actually going to, once one of these runs out, maybe like this one, I am going to delete one of them because we can't support it all. Not enough reeds down here. We've actually maxed it out. Let's just see. Can I get that in there? I can. So I can delete that. And once this one runs out, actually no. You're not productive enough. You're going to be destroyed. And I'm going to replace you with a conservatory instead. And now we can provide access to entertainment in this block. With a pavilion. Probably overkill, but who cares. That's space for, just keep moving the map. Yeah, there's space to put stuff in here, so we can probably provide all the services we need in here, even if we don't need them all, which is fine. Okay, so we're filling up this yard with papyrus, which is going to be good. It's going to give us more money when the trading year resets. And yeah, so I'm going to come back in. If anything of interest happens, we'll get these houses up into ordinary cottages, and maybe we'll start to provide them with pottery as well when we get a supply. Okay, so apparently Sakara is growing and is going to buy more limestone. Well, that's very nice, but I'm not selling limestone. That is a worthless export, and it buys 40 now. I don't see what value that has, to be honest, because it doesn't, to be honest. Anyway, we are selling out all the papyrus we can. Sold 1100. The only problem now is that there's so few reeds down here that we can't actually keep all of these staffed now. So I've actually overdone it a little bit. I might cut back on one of these. Once these all run out again, and I will delete some of them. We can't do anything else. What's our unemployment like? 62 missing workers. I have moved these houses. Because what I'm going to do is over here I'm going to have a bit for linen making. Because we're going to have to set up a linen industry. We've got plenty of money to do this now. So let's put down 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Let's just do 5 of those, and we can just do a little road connection there. There we go. And we'll road block here, and you should always be able to get down to these houses somehow. And we'll start stockpiling linen, because we'll be able to sell that to Maydoom, and it'll give us another export and allow us to shoot our profits up. We really need to get onto these floodplains sooner or later anyway. Let's just put down some irrigation here and there. There we go. I'm not going to put down the work camps just yet. They take too many workers. We don't have enough for them just yet. So we're starting to get some pottery. Let's actually distribute pottery. I'm not too sure if you're within range of the pottery. If you are, that's excellent because that'll save us needing to get a yard over here. Let's just actually set this to accept half again. I did tell this to empty so that I could fill this up to maximum, which will help in the long run. You're going to come and buy more papyrus. You bought 2,200 already. You're going to buy another 1,100. So we're going to actually go over a quota, which is going to help a lot. Because we're going to have to destroy some of these papyrus makers. What are these? That's 0. Let's actually delete that. There we go. So we'll have 2 of these only rather than 3 because we can't support it all. I might even need to stop the reed gathering industry entirely. And what's this? Dashur was 25 blocks of limestone in 3 years. Okay, so we're going to have to set up a limestone industry then very shortly with the money that we've got. So 3 years is a ridiculous amount of time, so that's plenty of time. I can set up really at the end, to be honest. So I'll go and set up a limestone industry now that we've got our money back. We'll start to evolve these houses, which will provide us with people. I'm not too sure is the papyrus... the pottery dude... bizarre, but I can't get over there. She disappeared after buying the pottery, so she didn't decide to come back. Okay, that's fine. If that becomes a problem, I will put a yard down here to get pottery, in fact. I might actually do that, but I'll not do that just now. Okay, so I'll go and set up a limestone industry, and I'll come back in once I've got the limestone ready and prepared for that request. Okay, so we are pretty much selling out the last of our papyrus supply. We cannot make any more. I had to turn off the reeds gatherers because we just could not get enough reeds, and most of these were empty most of the time, which wasn't helpful. So now we're going to start moving in towards flax. I think we need to start making another export because we have tapped out reeds. That's just made our money for now, which has allowed us to move into all of this. But for now we're going to go into linen and the like. We can actually turn off papyrus. We do not need that anymore. And what we are going to sell is pottery. We're going to sell one over 400, so it's enough for this bizarre lady down here to get that. Let's see what's our workers like. No unemployment problems. 1, 2, 3, 4. That should be more than enough, and you can put linen in there. Down here I have put down a couple of limestone quarries. I think this is overkill. I'm not too sure if I'm going to bother exporting it. I mean, I could if I really want to, but I'm not too sure at this point whether I'll bother exporting it. We've made 18 blocks of limestone. We've still got quite a number of months to go. We've still got 2 years, so that's okay. And down here I've also put down a recruiter and a tower, which is just going to keep doing with these hippos, because a hippo decided to walk all the way over here and start killing everyone, which didn't help in the slightest, because that's just going to screw up our supplies. Now we are stockpiling a bit more game meat. I did put down a hunting lodge right here, knocking out one of the unused papyrus makers, and that's helping to stockpile game meat, just in case someone asks for it. But for now we're going to sell pottery and rather than papyrus. Let's see how much money we get from it. Not a lot, but it's going to keep our sales going, which is all we want to see. This flax will come in. Very hard, fertile, these farms, which is good. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 should be more than enough. We've got enough limestone. Let's send that off. We'll just keep that going down here. I'm not going to probably export it. Might even cut back on this if I don't need that much. Now that we've got no more housing evolution without beer, I might start considering another block on this centre island, which we're going to have to set up a few farms and all that for as well. I'll think about all of that, and I'll come back in once I've started to progress the building of our city with another housing block right here. Well, here's a rather sneaky request. Because the flood was expected to be bountiful, Pharaoh is planning a great festival to Osiris, and I have 9 months to send 900 portions of game. That request is really, really sneaky, because to get that game meat, you have to develop this island, because the game meat is on the furthest island down here. So it's a good thing I set up this straight away. I had that in my mind that I knew that was going to happen, but it starts very early. I mean, that is 4 years into the mission. There is a perfect flood expected event. Straight after that you will get a festival to Osiris thing. Now over here I have set up my little zigzag block, and I've positioned it perfectly where our roads can go all the way around the outside without any problems at all. Not so much in this corner, but I have set it up basically like this. So this will allow us to get into grain farming along this floodplain. Down here I'll have distribution and all that kind of stuff to support this area. Up here probably some brickworks and the like to support making bricks. Although given that the monuments are going to probably be over here, I'm not too sure if I'll have the bricks over here. I'm not too sure yet. Because if I get a lot of population out of these 2 blocks down here, I may not need a third one up here. Although given what happened in the internet, I may need it, but we'll see. I might try even to get a monument on here, one of the mastabas. One here. One here. I'm not too sure where I'm going to put that one. And certainly none over here. I mean, I could even get one down here, but I'm not going to do that. But we'll see how it goes on that. So we're going to get all these people moving in. We're also into our linen industry. The first linen has been produced. Once we've got a nice big healthy stockpile, I might actually put a dock here. Like so. I'll have a dock there, that'll allow them to speed up trade of buying pottery, so they'll go there instead of coming to this one. And they'll only come here to buy papyrus. We are regrowing our reeds again, which is good. Let's just actually turn on reeds for a little while. And yes, we'll just keep on going. And I'll come back in once we are ready to start selling linen and we've got this block here populated. Okay, so we are continuing to grow the city. I'm having to turn the papyrus industry back on because we are running out of money. I mean, we've got 140 Debans and very little to sell at this point. The medium trade route costs quite a bit to open, which is not helpful. So I'm turning the papyrus industry on in the hopes I can get some money. In fact, what we can do... For now, I'm going to turn off linen because we're not selling it right now. Over here I've put down all of this. I've got all the grain farms set up for now at least. I don't think all of them will get staffed just yet, just because of the way I have wasted money. I ended up putting things down in such awkward places, I ended up deleting and rebuilding, which also wasted money. But I have got pretty much all of this tapped out, more space down to put things all the way along there. They were out of money for the first time because of the wages. We've got 3,000 Debans rescue funds. This tower is keeping these hippos under control, which is good. In fact, let's just roadblock there and there. We don't want them wandering into the floodplains, that's not going to be good. So yeah, we're just going to sell some... I did want to go into debt, but we've done it. Fine, it just gives me more opportunity here. So actually, what I can do is just put down more houses with this. So let's just put down houses there, houses there. Let's just put a line all the way along the back here like so. Let's just fill up this whole space with houses. What's the gods like? They're getting upset, which is not too good. So let's put a Ra temple there. Let's put a temple to Osiris right there. We're going to try and get these up to possibly fancy residence, I'm not too sure. And then we're going to slap an extra Bass temple. We'll just dump that. I'm not too sure. But for now we can just put it here. We'll just have a pointless temple in the middle of the industrial dump. So what we'll do is, once we've stockpiled a bunch of papyrus, we will start exporting it. We can at this very moment in time open the Meidum trade route and sell all that linen that we have. And once we start to get more people, I will start to turn the linen industry back on. We don't have a use for it just now. We can just stockpile flax, at least for this year. And then once this harvest is coming, I will turn off flax and then we'll just use up the supply. Okay, so we've got the houses down, and I'll come back in once we're starting to stabilise our income and this housing block. Okay, so we're starting to grow this city quite nicely. We've got all of our services down here and all that kind of stuff. I put down this statue here. Obviously part of the decorations needed to have all the housing, but it just stops the hippos and these people walking right into the hippos and getting killed, which slows down immigration completely. So we're going to just set up some other service buildings. I think I can get a juggler school there. Can't get that there, that's not very helpful. Let's see, they've got a juggler and musician there, that's fine. This is sort of running into space problems, which is not very helpful. I think what I'm going to do is up here I'm going to have my brickworks, and I'll just have all the bricks stored up here. I can export them to Saqqara and Dashur by bricks, so that's a viable export option. 5,000 a year, not too bad. So I can set up a dedicated area just to make bricks over here and have it disconnected from the remainder of the city, so don't try to wander all the way down here buying that kind of stuff. Now let's just start selling linen again, since we've got the workers and the money to support it. And what's our unemployment like actually? It's doing nice. It's been a while since we saw that, so it's good. Let me just check disease risk. A little bit high. Let's actually put down an extra. I am high because of the length of this block, because I did do it as a zigzag. I am going to have to put down additional service buildings in it for certain ones. Not all of them, but some of them will need additional buildings. Which is unfortunate, but that's just the way it has to be. Now what we're going to have here is we're going to have a granary. Not a granary.
To make beautiful music in this city for a long time.
Same here. So we're going to have a yard here getting pottery and beer, which will allow it to help out a bit. And what have we got in stockpile of pottery? Not enough. Let's just put this up to 1600. I don't think I'm going to export much pottery now. I'm going to try and move off pottery in the future, I think. Let's actually put down more potters. Let's just do this, and we can just put down a few extra clay pits as well. 1, 2. That'll probably be enough. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 potters serving 1, 2, 3, 8. 8 potters, yeah. And if I need more, just space up this way as well. Now, as soon as I get rid of all this flax, it'll be helpful. Then I can start turning industries back on and stabilising everything again. I don't think I have the money for this. This is not a desirable area, apparently, but never mind. So we're getting money. I think that's just more linen sales. No, it's more papyrus sales is helping to drive up our costs. So is Maydoom as well. This is going well, so we're starting to recover the situation after it looking as if it was going to go pear-shaped. And I think it's time that I start working on trying to get. Actually, we can keep the. I was going to turn off the limestone industry, but I think we can just keep it running. I think it's time that I start setting up the brickworks, because we're going to need to start making some bricks. It's taken a while for us to get our city totally stable, but now it's stable, so now I can set up those kind of industries. So, again, we're just going to let this run, and I'm going to come back in once we're ready to start making bricks. Okay, so we're starting to develop our brick industry here. Unfortunately, I had a blank moment and forgot that we need to have straw for these, so this has to be connected whether I like it or not. And I have put down additional grain farms here. Oh, there's a teleporting architect there. So I have put down more grain farms. I think that's more than enough. How many grain farms do we have? 18. I can't envision needing any more than that, to be honest. I have also gone around spamming shrines just about everywhere I can. Like on shrine walls here, just to keep the gods happy. What's our unemployment like? We've got 27 missing in workers, which is not too good. Now, if we're going to need more workers, it does, and this is run out of pottery, which is very helpful. There's plenty there, so it's just because these only hold 2, so it's okay. So this is set to fill rather than get, so it will be empty, I think, for a while. Let's put down 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 of them, that'll do. There's plenty of clay pits around here, so that should be fine. We're getting plenty of money now. Up here we've got traders trying to buy pottery, which we're not going to have anymore. Stop buying pottery. We don't really have the supply for that now. In fact, what I could do is probably set up a little bit of a local pottery industry here and then just have this as an export. I'm not too sure just yet what I'm going to do. We've used up all of our flax supply, which is perfect. And you don't have access to water. Let's just give you access. Did I put in a thing here? No, I didn't. Let's just sort that right now. There we go. I think 5 flax farms are more than enough, but I'm going to actually just bump it up anyway. I'm going to put down additional ones here. That'll be more than enough. I can't envisage us needing any more than this, to be honest, so let's just keep it nice and simple. If I need more, then I can just put a road over here and have access to more. I'll just put some elsewhere, but I don't think I'm going to need any more. Should be fine now. So now the only limiter is I need to get a source of barley, which we are going to have to get from Dashur, and I'm also going to have to open up this trade route to Eonet, which is a pain because it means I have to import granite from there, which is totally pointless, but never mind. I'm going to set up a beer industry, but later. I'm not going to do that right now. I've actually had 2 random fades in this recording already, and I'm sorry about that, but I have been told it's just a Windows thing, so I can't do anything about it. 29 blocks of limestone in 3 years, that's easy enough to do, we've got plenty of it, take it. So now I've just got to evolve the housing, I think. We've got 379 more spaces, hopefully they'll come in. So yeah, I'm going to set up our beer industry, and I'll come back in when we're starting to distribute beer to our citizens. Okay, so we're starting to develop this city quite nicely. We've got all the industry we need, plenty of unemployment. Actually, we've got a massive labour shortage, which is not what I was expecting, but we can turn off the limestone industry. We don't need that. Over here, I'm setting up the area for where I'm going to have all 3 monuments. I've also got plenty of beer being produced, which is going to be used to evolve this block first before anything else. And what I've done is I basically have pottery down here for this block, and we're going to have pottery over here for this block, and we're just going to have no centralised system. We might have a little bit more extra on here just for selling, but for the most part we're just going to have individual bits of pottery rather than a centralised distribution system, because it's not going to work out in the long run. We are producing beer, as I've said. I think we can get all the services we need. What's our culture rating like? 25. We need a couple of booze here and there. I think I can put one right there. That's actually quite nice. What else? One there. That's perfect. I don't think I can put any more down. I'll check my culture rating over time and see if that goes up. I will have to put down a dancer somewhere. I think I can just slip a dancer right there. And maybe one there? I'm not too sure, but I'll think about that later. Producing all the linen we need now. We don't need to worry about that now. I'm also taxing people at 6%. There was also a raise earlier in the mission. So I'm now paying 37 wages. You might have just saw there in that flicker that we now have culture 35 and not enough houses have access to a mortuary. So we are going to have to provide at least one of these blocks access to a mortuary. Since this is closer to the linen, I will probably make this one the linen and the mortuary supplier. If it still doesn't go up, then I could just provide it over here as well. 146, not too good. We're going to need to evolve our housing, I think, fairly soon. So we've got plenty of beer here. Let's go ahead and do a hyper evolution right now. But let's just put down a school here. And what we're going to have is also a yard over here set to getting papyrus. A quarter papyrus. I don't think we need to sell this much papyrus, so let's sell one over 800 to make sure there's enough supply for here. But we don't need to sell papyrus anymore. Let's stop selling it. We can just sell pottery and linen instead. That's worth much more. Actually, papyrus is worth about as much as linen, but who cares? Okay, so we're starting to really get on with this city. I will come back in once we've cleared the staging area for the first mastaba so that we can start building our monuments. Okay, so we're starting to prepare this mastaba. We've got a couple of bricklayers down there. Going to go and start getting the bricks delivered across this. It's kind of glitchy. I hope it doesn't glitch out because that'd be really annoying. We have pretty much evolved every single house up to common residence here. They just need access to another food type. And I could probably get these ones up to the next level by putting down a granary. Can I get one in there? Yes, I can. Right, you can go and get grain. I've put down a lot more farms now, so there should be a nice big supply of it in the city. Also put down a few more extra work camps here and there to make sure that there's always going to be a supply. And yeah, we can just keep on going with this mission. And I don't have access to a dancer for some reason. Where do I put another dance school? See, because if I'm getting further and further away from down here, which I don't really want, because that's going to cause problems, because it means I'm not going to have the industry needed now. What's our barley like? We don't seem to be getting enough barley now. Why is that? Where is the barley coming from? Not there. Are you still buying pottery? You are. You're going to stop buying pottery now. We don't need you to buy or sell anything because you're just holding up everyone. Because you're going to the wrong damn docks. You're going cross country for some reason, which doesn't actually help, but never mind. So yeah, this house will eventually move in when the person... I had a bit of weird evolution, so I just deleted some houses to make it flow through better. Since as immigration is not happening as well as I would like, turned off all of this, which is helping, I suppose. But now it's a case of letting the monuments build, so I'm just going to let this run. We've got a kingdom rating up to 100, which is excellent. Prosperity's there. Culture just needs a few extra bandstands and all that kind of stuff. And then I just need to try and stabilise the city to get to 4,000 people. So I'll come back in once at least 2 of these mastabas are complete. Unless something happens, of course. Okay, so we have reached our population target of 4,000. We've also... our culture's dropped, but our prosperity's going up. Kingdom's there. Monuments are going well. We've got the first one done now. I've got an idea for stabilising this city. what I'm going to do is around this second mastaba, I'm going to have a housing block going right around it, and it'll just help to give us more people, because we seem to be struggling to get people into this city. Over here you can see I've got a mixture of spacious residences and elegant residences. Now, just because this side is so compact, I can't get another temple to another god. It would just mess up things by trying to do that. What else? I'm going to need to put another dance school down, I think, somewhere. We actually can't seem to get enough linen now, so let's just delete that, because it's getting in the way now. Let's put this dance school right here. And we can have the apothecary right there. We don't seem to be getting enough flax now. I think it's just because of all the farms we've got and these monuments as well. 10,000 bricks, we should be able to produce all that quite nicely. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 brickworks. And there's a nice big supply of it as well. Eonet wants 26 blocks of limestone. Plenty of it. And in fact, what I can do is delete all of these. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to have the limestone industry running with just a single limestone quarry. That should be more than enough to satisfy those requests, I think. But for now, I'm just going to let the mission run on, and I'm going to come back in once all of the mastabas are complete, and well, at least this one complete, and the house block around it. And yeah, I'll come back in a bit later once there's something interesting to show. Okay, so we're starting to get along with this mission. Now we've got 2 mastabas down, and you can see what I've got here. I've got a housing block right around this mastaba. It's just provided as additional employees and preventing us from having a massive aging problem, which we're going to have very soon. I've got grain down here. We'll provide them with some amenities, not a ton of them, but we'll try and provide them as many as we can. I'll just plaza up this road as well, because there's no desirability for these, so they're going to have to rely on plaza. And we should be doing okay. Now I'm going to start importing burial provisions down here. I'm only going to import just the amount that we need, because it'll kill our income by importing these things, because, I mean, look at that. 2,000 wiped off just importing luxury goods. Not very helpful, and I'm not sure if I need this dock anymore, to be honest. It's just sort of stuffing things up a little bit. In fact, yeah, once all these dock ships have gone through these things, I'm going to delete that dock, because it's just getting annoying. This block here, I don't think I'll evolve much higher than an ordinary cottage. We'll see if we can get 5,000 people. I'll provide them with all the necessary amenities in that. Got our culture, got our prosperity, our kingdom's there. Population's there, we just need to finish this final monument. So, I'm going to come back in once the final mastaba is complete. Okay, so with that, we are nearly done with this mission. Had a couple of bad floods just at the end there, and had to give a festival to the side, so just to make them a little bit better, because our food supply was sort of draining away a little bit. But you can see that this mastaba has only got 1 load of bricks left, which is right here. I perfectly counted. I turned off the entire brickwork industry just to give us more workers. The luxury goods, wood and granite are all stockpiled down here with a festival square. Trade was started to back up a little bit. It's like there was always someone hanging around down here, which wasn't very helpful. Because like every trade route is a water trade route, which is very annoying. That's like, there's 2 ships per city, if I remember correctly. So that's like 2, 4, 6, 8 boats you've got to service, which is not very useful when they're when some of them, like Eonet, don't do anything apart from import granite. Once you've imported the 32 granite, you don't need them, and then they just sort of clog up everything. Same with things like Saqqara, they stop doing things after a while, and then it just sort of becomes really inefficient. But we're making money. I mean, what are we making money on? We're making money mostly on taxes and exports. I am exporting papyrus yet again, because I was starting to run out of cash. My prosperity tanked for a little while for no reason, but it's sorted now. The last loads of bricks are coming over, I think. Where are they? There they are. They're coming round now. There we go. I'm just going to take one more save. And we can marvel at our completed monuments. All nicely grouped up over here with a housing block right around them. Maybe this is where all the dead come to survive after their people have died. I don't know. Mastaba complete. All 3. That's perfect. Let's have a marvel at our city. So we started down here with the reeds and the papyrus. Got ourselves going with that. Expanded onto this landmass to produce our pottery, linen and beer. And over here we had our main housing block, providing pretty much all the population we needed. This was just sort of a little bit extra just to push us over. And with that, we can now send off our stuff. 800 linen, 800 luxury goods, 800 wood, 32 limestone. I don't know why they need limestone, but never mind. 32 granite, and the mission will complete at the end of the month, and that was us. There we go. That was Own. That was a fairly difficult mission. Pharaoh being a little bit cheeky with his request, asking us to send over game meat, but luckily I prepared for that in advance. Let us proceed to the next mission.
Splendid! The mines you established at Tura have furnished all the limestone that Khufu has required so far. With the strong economy based on the productive Tura mines, your city has reached new cultural and social heights.
Well, I hope that one quarry that we've got can produce everything we need for Khufu, but somehow I doubt it. But that was Own. We got fairly good ratings there. We first developed our first mortuaries as well. And got our prosperity up. Kingdom rating was easy enough, but our final funds were a lot lower than I was expecting. Completed on hard mode. 3 monuments as well. But that was Own. If you want to head to the next mission, click on the card on the screen. We're going to head to Russia and build the greatest pyramid ever known so far. And I'll see you in the next video for Russia. Bye now.